Gentlemen and female gentlemen, we are here with the full, complete lore of Halo. As you know, I am absorbing all lore. All lore getting absorbed. That's how we do it. Daily videos. Daily videos on Nuxtaku channel. We absorb all lore, all anime, all abridged series, everything. So lock in, boys and girls. Let's see what's going on in the world of Halo. This is a new lore dive. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Halo has a rich and expansive storyline that's only getting longer, and we've arbitrarily made First Contact. And this time, First Contact...
What the f***? Skipped 3 minutes in. I pushed a key. My bad.
So we'd better get started.
All right, let's go.
5 minutes? Oh, God. All right, here we go. 100,000 years ago...
It's not 5 minutes.
Humanity spanned the Milky Way galaxy, but there was a problem. An insidious parasitic life form known as the Flood spread to so many species so rapidly it was looking like they'd soon be the only players on the board.
Wait, hold up. So there's this giant... Okay, dude, speedrunning this shit. Oh my god. So there's this life form, this parasitic life form that is absorbing everything hive mind style.
Retreating from the Flood, humanity encountered a planet occupied by Forerunners, a species led by a dude called the Didact and his wife, the Librarian. The Didact knows humanity, and he's not a fan. In fact, he finds them unworthy to receive the mantle of responsibility, which is a traditional role in the galaxy where advanced species look out for lesser ones. The Didact and Forerunners stole the mantle from an even older alien race called the Precursors by wiping them out. Hypocrites much? Anyway, there's a bit...
Wait, so... oh my god, he's going so fast. So there was this... oh my fucking god. So there was this ancient race, super powerful. The Didact wiped them out, took this power, then they were going to give this power to humanity after that. That didn't happen.
Big war between the Forerunners and humans, who are both also being assaulted by the Flood, and the humans lose. The Forerunners de-evolve them and revert them back to caveman time.
What?
As punishment.
Oh my god! Wait. So humanity took over the stars 100,000 years ago. Alright, they lost to the Didact, so the Didact fucking devolved them and dropped them down caveman style on the planet. Oh my lord, that's dark as balls. Bro! Alright, and I guess they're still fighting the Flood.
Seeding an obscure planet called Earth with the human survivors of the war. But they still have the Flood to deal with. The Didact's plan are these fake planets called Shield Worlds, and an army of warriors called Prometheans made of the consciousnesses of Forerunner warriors implanted into synthetic bodies by a device called a composer. He gets outvoted though, and the Forerunners instead build an array of super weapons floating in space designed to wipe out all life in the galaxy at any time if need be.
Yeah, I don't feel like that... Bro, the Samson option, holy shit. Yeah, they always have like a little... Oh, we lost to the Forerunners, not the Didact? Alright, so apparently now they have this nuclear option where essentially they could click a button, wipe out all life so that the Flood at least doesn't exist forever. They have a kill switch to end the Flood, which is this weird fungus-based hive mind.
In order to stem the tide of the Flood. These weapons are giant terraformed rings in space called halos, collectively known as the Halo.
Oh. That's why it's called halos. Oh. Because that's the name of their weapons that might end all life in the galaxy. Yeah, okay.
Halo array. The Didact goes rogue when he's ordered to dismantle the Shield Worlds, steals the composer, and heads to Earth, intending to compose all the remaining humans to swell the ranks of his robot army. Incidentally, being a robot makes you immune to the Flood's parasitism, so he kind of has a point on that front. The Forerunners foil the plan with the help of the Librarian, who sells out her husband, believing archival of every species in the galaxy is the way to go. Instead,
bro, the Trazen of the characters, just gathering all the fucking bullshit from everybody.
The Flood. The Didact is imprisoned on one of...
So they're trying to turn as many people as they can into, like, you know, synthetic life forms, you know, Mechanicus style, so that the Flood can't actually just keep absorbing people into their hive mind.
His own Shield Worlds called Requiem, along with his loyal Prometheans. Not sure why you'd bury Hitler with an army of loyal Nazi soldiers right next to him should he...
Oh my god, this is a terrible plan!
Ever awakened, but okay. Meanwhile, the Flood continues to evolve and grow more intelligent, and the Forerunners build an AI named Mendicant Bias to help strategize against them. MB immediately decides to test the Halo array by wiping out all life on one random planet.
What? What? You've got to be shitting me. Bro. I'm sorry, I got a message. Wait, so just to test their weapon, they wipe out all life on a planet?
Alderaan style, which doesn't bode well. Indeed, a Flood Gravemind, which are the things that represent the combined consciousnesses of millions of Flood, reaches out telepathically or technopathically to Mendicant and convinces it to turn evil. That means the Forerunners are up against the Flood and their own AI war machine, which renders...
Wait, so the Flood was able to take control of this AI war machine? Holy shit.
The war essentially hopeless. As a last-ditch effort, the Forerunners build Installation 00, aka the Lesser Ark, which both stores the DNA of a bunch of species and pumps out new halos. It sits...
Dude, this is literally the ultimate fucking anti shit. So they built this thing to be epic and immortal and immune, and then they just absorb and take over the epic and immortal and immune. Dude, the Flood seems like they are way more powerful than these fucking diadect people. Like, I feel like it's not even remotely close. This is like an existential threat.
It's just outside the galaxy, so that even if the Halo array is fired and the Flood finally ended, the life stored there will survive. You know, like Noah's Ark. Although how Forerunners named their thing after something from our Bible long before the Bible was ever written, I don't know, but okay. The Ark constructs 7 halos, dubbed the final...
Oh my god, wait, so are you telling me that the biblical Bible stories in the world of Halo are just retellings of ancient alien races?
Final array. The Forerunners trigger it, etch-a-sketching the galaxy clean of life, then teleport clones of each species back to suitable planets to begin again. Humanity's portal opens on Africa, and Halo's history finally...
The first humans were on Africa, it's true! Wow, this is insane. This is crazy. This is crazy. So you're telling me that the Flood caused, you know, the biblical flood in Halo? That's awesome. That is amazing. That's awesome. I love Halo lore, officially. I love mixing in ancient human stories and myths and folklore and biblical stories, mixing it in with some ancient lore of aliens fighting 100,000 years ago. Yes, everything I wanted. This is amazing. This is all the lore that I love to see. Holy balls. I'm invested. I'm super invested.
Finally starts to match up with the actual history of humans on Earth.
Wow.
This is us.
So, yeah. So it seems like the Samson option was initiated. They obliterated as much of everything as they possibly can, and thanks to the librarian guy who kept little fucking different species in bubbles, was able to repopulate a brand new space, a brand new galaxy full of thousands of species of creatures developing on other worlds just to slow the Flood down. So hopefully, if they do come back, you would be able to beat them. Oh my lord, that is crazy. Halo Trazyn goes crazy.
This is the line of humans we come.
And the librarian was the Diadect's wife, right? So the Diadect is the Hitler guy, the fucking authoritarian dude who just wanted to create an army of robot monsters to wipe out all life to prevent the Flood from growing. That's really interesting if you think about it. So you have a husband and wife. The wife gathers different genes of every different species to repopulate the world after they Samson the galaxy. All right? And you got the husband who goes another route. He decides he wants to mechanize and wipe out as much life as he possibly can to prevent the Flood, which is a hive mind bioorganism, from just absorbing everything and becoming an impossible threat. So one guy, he wanted to holocaust the place to prevent the Flood from growing. And then you got the wife who decides we're just gonna gather shit so we can repopulate if some bad stuff actually happens. And these two are essentially the progenitors to the greater Halo plot. Damn.
Okay, so 2,500 years later, humanity has once again become a spacefaring species, not knowing that this is like the second or third time they've done that. While the Forerunner civilization lies forgotten and in almost complete ruin. Humanity, thinking itself alone in the galaxy, has its own problems. Colonies on the outer edges of human space feel oppressed by the older core worlds, and a civil war is well underway. Dr. Catherine Halsey of the UNSC forms the Spartan II Project, a military operation that kidnapped a bunch of kids, replaced them with clones.
Oh, that's where Master Chief comes from, right? He comes from one of these Spartan guys.
IRL so their parents wouldn't miss them, then subjected them to brutal experiments to turn them into hulking super soldiers.
Bro, dude, everything comes from Warhammer. Have you noticed the Warhammer 40k? Everything comes from Warhammer 40k.
Originally intended to crush the rebels / fight terrorism, depending on how you view things, the Spartans later became much more important once we made First Contact. And this time, First Contact would be with a race comprised of many races, all bundled together into a galactic army with nefarious goals and plenty of weaponry. This union of evil aliens calls itself the Covenant, and
That's the Covenant. Because dude, my friend Oompaville, he is such a crazy Halo nerd. He knows Halo lore like the back of his hand. So every time he references Halo lore, I have no idea what he's talking about until now. Now we're doing the Halo lore dive. But that dude, he mentioned the Covenant, the Flood. I heard all these terms floating around.
It's the Covenant invasion of a world called Harvest that sets all the events of the Halo series in motion. That's right. We just got to the content of one of the Halo games.
All right, so this was the prologue so far. So far, essentially, you have the Flood, this just existence of this hive mind fungus creature taking over the galaxy, and you get these people resetting the galaxy. And now in a reset galaxy, where the Flood, I suppose, is gathering itself and becoming a threat once again, you get the Covenant invading humanity, fighting against the Spartans, which is a authoritarian fighting force developed by humans to crush rebellion and stop aliens. This is kind of based.
Specifically Halo Wars 1. This was all prologue, and I said it as fast as I could, and
that's
we're 4
wild.
minutes in. This is so okay, pushing forward. Halo Wars.
Understandable.
So Covenant ships come and use plasma cannons to kill everything on Harvest and melt the soil into glass. It sucks. It turns out they targeted that particular planet because they lust for powerful Forerunner technology and artifacts, and a particularly juicy one lies buried on Harvest. It's a map leading to the locations of dozens of other also powerful Forerunner artifacts. The Covenant starts sweeping through the galaxy seeking these, wiping...
Right, because obviously, you wouldn't realize something. But the truth of the matter is the fact that there is ancient tech everywhere. Because remember, these Halo rings that just glassed all the planets, they didn't wipe out the technology. They were just biological weapons that wiped out life. So essentially, you do have these ancient artifacts from a far more advanced ancient civilization that's still just hanging around.
Out any humans who happen to be on planets that they want to dig up. One human ship, the Spirit of Fire, under the command of Captain James Cutter, follows the Covenant fleet to a world called Acadia. While investigating for...
There's always Acadia! Acadia stands.
Our architecture...
Hassan would side with the Covenant, bro.
There. Professor Ellen Anders is kidnapped by the Covenant and forced to activate a Forerunner dreadnought. That's because Forerunner tech, which they swiped from the precursors, is designed so that humans can activate it, but Covenant can't. Since humans were the ones the precursors had intended to take over the mantle of responsibility. That's why you'll often hear humans referred to as Reclaimers in the series. They're
interesting, because they were the nation that was supposed to actually rebuild their empire to fight back against the Flood. The Covenant came in and essentially is trying to usurp what the ancient species had in mind.
The ones who are supposed to reclaim the mantle. The Spirit of Fire shows up, Anders escapes, and there's a showdown on a shield world. The humans discover Flood infesting the world, so they...
Oh shit, Flood is not gone.
They detonate their own slip space drive to destroy the planet.
Wow, you find Flood on the world and you just have to destroy the planet. It's like there's absolutely no chance. You cannot leave one fucking Flood spore alive.
Decimates the Covenant and prevents them from activating the shield world, which would have wiped out humanity. But without their hyperdrive, the SOF will take thousands of years to get back to friendly space, so the crew all freeze themselves and are considered lost in action. Most of humanity remains unaware of the Flood until a little later during the events of Halo Reach. In that one, the Galactic Civil War has advanced a pace, and now there's a Spartan 3 program. 3s are smaller knockoffs of Spartan 2s and aren't created by kidnapping kids. Nice! A squad comprised of some 3s and a 2 called Noble Team are sent to the planet Reach in 2552 to stop what they think is an insurrectionist plot, but which turns out to be yet another Covenant invasion of worlds.
Dude, so the Covenant, they're just consistently just showing up. They're just showing up to fuck with humanity whenever they get the chance, because humanity are like the chosen people, right, to actually pick up the mantle to fight back against the Flood, and the Covenant are warmongers that actually want all sorts of weaponry, so they keep butting heads with humanity every chance they get.
Team rescues Dr. Halsey, mother of the Spartan program, and fight to defend the planet, but soon realize the cause is lost. Halsey sends them to the ship Pillar of Autumn, along with a fragment of an advanced AI named Cortana. One of the Spartan 3s, June, escorts Cortana and the Doctor safely off planet while the rest of Noble Team dies in action. Sad. Halo Combat Evolved was the first Halo game ever released, and its story falls neatly into this spot right here. Fleeing the Covenant on Reach, the Pillar of Autumn makes a blind slip space jump and winds up near one of the Halo rings, known as Installation 04. Captain Key decides to activate a legendary Spartan 2 by the name of John 117.
Oh my god, it's John!
Master Chief is ordered to protect the Cortana AI and flees from the Covenant.
Bro, that's the Cortana, bro. That's the fucking Cortana. Damn, the original AI from the original Halo game from millions of years ago. Dude, it's all coming together!
As the Pillar of Autumn crash lands, ending up on the terraformed surface of the Halo ring world. Cortana leads John to the Halo's control room, where he uses the consoles there to try and locate Captain Key. Instead, he runs into the Flood, who have taken over most of the POA's crew. The Flood were held in captivity aboard the Halo, but the Covenant unleashed them by poking around. See, a bunch of the Covenant think that the Halos are religious artifacts and that they can transcend to paradise by activating them. Cortana and Master Chief then run into 343 Guilty Spark, a little sentient...
So again, it's really interesting that they have all sorts of these wild, like, they have so many of these really interesting references and multiple interpretations for many different things. Like, you know, they want to attain paradise or whatever. You know, they don't know exactly what they're supposed to do. It's not like they got some sort of guidebook. They were the chosen people, humans, I mean, in a way to figure out what's actually going on, you know? Trying to find the truth. He's called John 117. Look at John 117 in the Bible. Okay, that's crazy. Hold up. Yo, that's crazy. John 117. For the law that was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Christ. Bro's the chosen one! He's the chosen one! Okay, that's pretty fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that's incredible. That's really cool. That is so cool. It's insane. The Great Journey to Atlantis. Yeah, no, it's a really interesting philosophy. It's a cool idea. They don't know exactly what they're supposed to be fighting for, but they were chosen to be the next generation of people that are supposed to bring this galaxy to peace and not be ever consumed by the Flood.
Floating robot thingy that monitors the Halo installation. 343 tells them that the only way to wipe out the Flood on the Halo is to activate it, and helps them recover the activation index they need to do so. Right before pulling the ripcord on the Halo, Cortana discovers its true power, however, specifically that it'll wipe out all life in a 25,000 light-year radius.
That's a lot of life. Yeah, but that's Halo, right? That's the Halo project, that you want wipe out this massive group of life, because that's the only way to get rid of the Flood. They're just a completely invincible creation that needs to be wiped out to its core, or else they'll just keep growing forever.
That's a big radius. Cortana sends Chief to detonate the Pillar of Autumn's fusion reactor instead, much to Guilty Spark's chagrin. The Chief finds Captain Key, who's been absorbed by the Flood and is midway through being turned into a grave mine, rips out his neural implant, and uses it to blow up the drive. As the Halo disintegrates like some donut Death Star, Master Chief and Cortana fly into the sunset, or space set, whatever. In Halo 2, Master Chief's well-deserved
That's a pretty fucking based plot, I'm not gonna lie.
medal ceremony aboard a
Dude, I'm starting to understand why so many people are upset about modern Halo, you know? I'm starting to understand why people are so upset about modern Halo shit. Because that was goated. That plot was insane.
near a space station is interrupted by Covenant forces, who appear out of slip space and seem to be surprised to find humans occupying Earth. John 117 helps lead a counter-assault, ultimately forcing the Covenant flagship led by the Prophet of Regret, a Covenant hierarch, to flee by going into slip space right on top of the city of New Mombasa, leveling. Aboard a ship called the In Amber Clad, and under the command of Captain Key's daughter Miranda Keyes, Master Chief and crew chase after, finding themselves popping out right next to another Halo. It turns out the Prophet of Regret intends to activate the ring to wipe humans off of Earth.
Yo! So the Halos, which were the super weapons designed to wipe out life, which were designed hundreds of thousands of years before humans inhabited Earth, alright? You gotta realize this shit. Before all of that happened, these Halos existed in space as gigantic failsafes to flood invasions. but the Covenant wants to activate them to wipe out their enemies, dude. Oh, Lord.
So Master Chief fights his way onto the Halo to the Prophet and punches him to death. Bet he's got one more regret now. Just then, a flying Covenant capital city called High Charity appears and starts to blast the Halo with plasma cannons. On board the city ship, a whole other storyline is playing out. See, when a member of the Covenant is disgraced, they are sometimes given the title of Arbiter and sent on important suicide missions to redeem themselves.
Bro, dude, the Covenant culture must be so interesting too. It feels like there's so much lore and all these random details. The Covenant culture's gotta be ganger.
Think of them as the Covenant Spartans.
Oh my god. Covenant martyrs, redeeming themselves and their families. A warrior culture.
The Arbiter we care about, called the Arbiter, accepts his new title and is sent to wipe out the Heretics, a Covenant splinter group that broke off when they discovered the truth about the Halo rings.
Dude. So the Covenant itself has rebels against themselves, and they use their own soldiers to fight against their own heretics. They are their own gigantic culture too.
Namely, that they aren't portals to heaven, but rather death loops of destruction. The Arbiter, who does believe in the religious nature of the Halos, at least for now, runs into Guilty Spark while defeating the heretics. 3-4...
Dude. So it's not just a warrior culture. It's a warrior religion. It's a religion that focuses on martyrdom and expansionism. Oh my god.
3GS to the Arbiter is a great oracle and
Space ISIS? Alright, dude, I don't know.
seer of religious truths. Just as 343 is about to disabuse the Arbiter of this notion, a Covenant brute commander appears and captures the little bot. That wraps up that mission, so the Arbiter returns to High Charity, only to find that the political climate has changed dramatically since the Prophet of Regret got punched to death.
So one of their prophets ended up getting brutalized and murdered, and then after the prophet died, it's like the whole religious culture kind of shifted. Dude, the parallels to like actual different civilization and cultures in real life is fucking scary. Like, dude, I mean, we're all thinking the same thing. But like, damn, they are cooking.
The Sangheili, the Covenant race of which the Arbiter is one, have been dethroned as the official guards of the Hierarch class and have been replaced by brutes of the same sort that captured 343. The Arbiter stays on as Arbiter, however, and is sent on a new mission, recovering the activation index for this latest Halo ring. He heads to the library where the key resides and captures Captain Keys to boot. That's two keys
being captured at the same time.
Keys for those keeping track at home.
Alright, thanks, bro.
Before the Arbiter can take possession, he gets ambushed by the same brute from before named Tartarus, who has in fact been ordered by the Hierarch to take him out and complete the dethronement of the Sangheili. Tartarus tosses the Arbiter into a hell pit, which in Greek mythology is also called a
Tartarus, we got it.
Tartarus, which is confusing, and
It's not confusing, okay? They just like referencing this stuff.
Caught by a full-grown Flood Gravemind. At this point, the Arbiter's story intersects with Master Chief's, since she...
That is wild. So, the reason why we needed to go through this whole crazy rebellion, multiple factions in the Covenant splitting up, one of them getting absorbed by the Flood, and basically space hell, is because this now intersects with our GOAT.
Chief has also been captured by the same Gravemind. The Flood convinces Master Chief and the Arbiter to work together since all three of them want to keep the Covenant from activating the Halo.
The Flood could be reasoned with? I am in shock. I totally thought they were just a hive mind that just came out to wipe out everything as much as possible. The terrible fact about the Gravemind is that it isn't its final form. Yeah, obviously, they want to absorb everything. So, basically, the Flood is an intelligent force. They want to consume everything in the galaxy, but at the same time, these Halos are the ultimate threats to the Flood's existence, because they'll wipe it out on the biological level. So, essentially, what these Graveminds are doing is trying to work with Covenant factions as well as human factions to prevent the activation of the Halo, which would save you but also keep the Flood alive. Now remember, the moment this works, bro, the moment this actually works and they do stop the Halo, the Flood is just gonna absorb Master Chief and the Covenant. They are the ultimate giga threat. Someone in my chat just told me that the Flood only becomes intelligent once it reaches the tier of Gravemind. Bro,
Gravemind teleports our bad boys right to the Halo control room, where Tartarus is about to use the Index and Captain Key to activate the ring. The Arbiter kills Tartarus and they stop the Halo from firing, at least this time. But what's that? Unintended consequences. 343 Guilty Spark explains that aborting the firing triggered a system standby mode that allows all the rings in the Halo array to be fired remotely should...
No! Remotely firing the Halos? God damn!
They need to be from Installation 00, the Lesser Arc. That means even though this Halo isn't going to fire right now, the Cosmic Football has been fumbled and is live, and if the Covenant can leap onto the Arc before humanity does, they can really burn the galaxy down in a hurry.
I mean, they can activate all the Halos and clean the entire toilet of the galaxy.
Midst of all this madness, Master Chief also infiltrates High Charity, discovers a plot by the Prophet of Truth to attack Earth yet again, and makes
Classic.
the tough decision to give chase and save the world, even though it means leaving the Halo and putting the whole galaxy at risk. He leaves Cortana behind with explicit orders to detonate the In-Amber Clad, since that's the only way we seem to have figured out to blow up a Halo. He uses a fancy gravity catapult to shoot himself toward the Forerunner Dreadnought the Covenant have been using as their flagship, and plans to commandeer it back to Earth. Meanwhile, the High Charity itself has been evacuated by the Covenant and completely taken over by the Flood
Obviously, because now that the Halo is officially been neutralized, it's time for the Flood Gravemind to take over everything that they can.
Gravemind, who keeps
the Flood can affect AI. I know we saw
Cortana captive in the systems of the ship. Okay.
Wow, dude.
Halo 3.
That was insane. That's a really good plot too, not gonna lie.
Woof. So, Master Chief plummets into Earth's atmosphere, yeah? And he gets found by the Arbiter and Sergeant Johnson, his pals from Halo 2, right? Well, they find out that the Prophet of Truth returned to Earth in order to find a portal to the Lesser Arc that the...
Come on, dude.
Forerunners place...
This is why you double tap. This is why you double tap. All right, I have people in my chat saying he skipped OTSD, and I have no idea what that means.
Under New Mombasa. He plans to go through it and activate the entire Halo array at once, which it turns out is why the Covenant came to Earth in the first place. A battle ensues, but the Prophet and some of his forces are able to slip through the portal, just as a flood-infested ship crash lands with a message from Cortana urging Master Chief to head to the Ark post-haste. The UNSC fleet, plus 343 Guilty Spark, who has nothing better to do, all head through the slipspace portal and arrive at Installation 00 with the Flood hot on their heels and in pursuit of the Covenant.
Damn.
The Flood, arriving aboard High Charity, quickly infests the Ark, which is good because otherwise you wouldn't have had as much stuff to shoot at during...
Yeah, it's great. It's great when the Flood wipes out the Covenant, but it's also bad that the Flood keeps getting more powerful.
Game. The Prophet of Truth captures...
People are saying ODSD are orbit droppers. They're like the hell jumpers. All right, dude. Maybe we'll get there later.
Johnson and uses him as a human key, activating the Halo array.
Nice.
But before it can...
Because once again, human chosen people. So everyone's using them for their very DNA.
Fire. The Chief and Arbiter strike yet another uneasy truce with the Flood, fight their way to the Prophet of Truth, and choke him to death. Mixing it up. Choking. It's the new punching. Master Chief deactivates the array, saving the galaxy, and the Flood immediately turn on him because, in case you forgot, they're evil. 3-4...
Yeah. No, the Flood, they were never allies, bro. I don't know. Was he actually blindsided? He's like, Flood Gravemind? I can't believe it. We fought together for so long. We were literally on the same side, fighting every single day together. We were allies, best of friends. Come on, bro. What are we talking about, bro? This fucking space hive mind that wants to consume all life. You really think that they wasn't gonna betray you?
4-3, Master Chief and the Arbiter all escape and discover the nature of the Ark on their way out the door.
So wait, so the Arbiter remains friends with humanity even though he's a Covenant guy?
Realizing that the Ark generates Halos and that it's currently in the...
They knew a double cross was coming, they just needed to do it? Got it.
Middle of producing a new Halo to replace the one destroyed at the end of Halo Combat Evolved, they form a new plan to activate the Halo while it's still way out here, near the Ark but away from the rest of the galaxy. This would kill all the Flood aboard the Ark but leave the galaxy unscathed.
That's literally what the Halos are made for. They are giant flood-killing nukes.
Solid plan. They save Cortana from High Charity, blowing it up and killing the Gravemind.
Nice.
Everyone evacuates the Ark except Master Chief Johnson, the Arbiter, Cortana, and 343. Guilty Spark wants them to wait until the Halo is complete before firing it, fearing it will shake apart and destroy itself if triggered too early. But Guilty Spartan Master Chief has different ideas, wanting to fire ASAP since the Flood Gravemind is already beginning to rebuild itself. 343 kills Sergeant Johnson for trying to activate the Halo early. Chief flips out and blows up 343's current shell and activates the ring. As predicted, the ring wipes out the Flood but also shakes itself apart, forcing Chief to dramatically flee to the ship Forward Unto Dawn. As the FUD disappears through a slipstream portal, the portal closes, cutting the ship in half, with the Arbiter back in Earth space and the Chief and Cortana adrift in uncharted waters.
Yo, that is a cool way to end a fucking battle. So you got Master Chief in slip space, whatever, somewhere randomly. No one knows where the fuck they are. It's just floating around somewhere in space. And then you got the Arbiter, a Flood, who's kind of just now just with the humans.
The Chief puts himself into cryosleep and awaits rescue.
Understandably. He is in half a ship. He's not going anywhere. In middle of space, just fucking somewhere. Just, you know, he puts himself in cryosleep. One day, whenever he is found, they'll wake him because there's no point just being awake and age.
2 years later, Halo 4 kicks off with Dr. Halsey being tried for her crimes. Remember?
Love that! Oh my god! What's it called? Child experimentation retards getting tried for their crimes? Hell yeah, dude.
She kidnapped those children and made them super soldiers. Well, Cortana finally awakens the Chief because their ship has been boarded by Covenant. John and Cortana soon discover that the Forward Unto Dawn has drifted into Covenant space near the Shield World Requiem, where the Didact has been imprisoned this whole time. A Covenant faction...
No, they're not gonna wake up the fucking space Nazis.
...calling themselves the Remnants are attempting to awaken him. Upon scanning...
Bro, they're waking an ancient alien race that was too dangerous for the fucking ancient superpowers. This is a terrible idea!
Chief, and realizing he's a human reclaimer and therefore capable of making the tech work, the Shield World automatically opens a big hole in its surface and sucks everyone in, destroying the Forward Unto Dawn. John 117 awakens on the inside surface of the Inside Out planet. It's like a Halo, but rounder. To make matters worse, Cortana starts acting weird and explains the AIs undergo an aging process called rampancy. They don't age and die, but they eventually become corrupted and essentially go crazy, which...
That's some bullshit! That's some bullshit! What are you talking about?
...has begun in her case. Ouch. To save Cortana, Chief is dead set on getting out of the Shield World and back to Dr. Halsey, who he believes can help. Chief fights his way through the Remnants and the Didact's leftover Prometheans, finally reaching the Cartographer, a mapping system that reveals there's another UNSC ship nearby, the Infinity. It flew through the hole in the Shield World and seems like their ticket out of here.
I don't know, bro seems like he really needs some fucking reinforcements ASAP. He is sitting there among Covenant warships while the Remnants are trying to reawaken these fucking ancient Nazi soldiers. This is a terrible idea.
Cortana and Chief attempt to warn the Infinity of the dangers, but can't make contact, and instead encounter a strange hovering metal object when they physically track down...
He is the reinforcements. Oh god.
...down the signal they...
Bro's just out there fucking soloing shit.
...thought was the ship. Turns out, it's the Didact's jail cell, which then opens, releasing the ancient asshole and giving Halo 4 its main antagonist.
Yeah, this is terrible. Why didn't they kill that guy? Bro. Why didn't they kill that guy? They just had this guy around for hundreds of thousands of years, just sealed there. They just fucking sealed Space Hitler down there forever. And, come on, dude.
The Didact quickly overpowers Master Chief and declares the return of Forerunner primacy in the galaxy.
Right, because the Forerunners are the ancient superpower, right? The ancient superpower. They essentially had to sacrifice themselves to stop the Flood from completely taking over. You know? They stopped the Flood, but they somehow kept this guy around in fucking stasis.
Galaxy. We'll see how that works out. After some more laser fights, Chief makes his way through Covenant and Promethean alike to arrive at the real Infinity, where he meets a Spartan 4 called Palmer and the ship's commanding officer, Captain Del Rio. The new game plan is to destroy the gravity well at the heart of the Shield World, allowing the Infinity to jump away. Just then, John has a vision of the Librarian, the Didact's wife who betrayed him back in the day when he first went power mad. She explains the whole history of the Forerunners from the beginning of this video. That is,
the fact that, you know, they showed up, the Flood was there, she had to seal away her Hitler husband and spread life throughout the galaxy.
Logically, this is when...
Wait, so is he literally just explained to by essentially some ancient deity that you are the chosen one, the chosen people?
The player learned all the stuff about the Forerunners.
That's crazy.
Neat. The Librarian...
That is so cool. So this is where the original lore drop happened.
Explains that now that he's awake, the Didact's plan will certainly be to grow the ranks of the Prometheans by using a composer to trap the souls of all the humans in the galaxy.
Yeah, obviously, because he's trying to extract the souls from people to create an army of mechanized soldiers that are immune to the Flood.
You know, that classic jam. She also does some whooshy magic that makes Master Chief immune to being composed.
Love that.
Double neat. Captain Del Rio notices that Cortana's showing signs of rampancy and orders her handed over for reformatting or whatever, which the Chief doesn't cotton to. Instead, he steals Cortana and a Pelican ship and goes rogue on a quest to slay the Didact. He
right.
follows the Didact's ship through a portal to Ivanov's station where a composer resides. The Didact immediately uses said composer to turn the whole crew of the station into ashes, then speeds toward Earth, planning to burn us or make us into evil robots, with Master Chief hot on his trail.
God
the Didact
damn.
composes the entire population of New Phoenix, which is a city, before rapidly going rampant. Cortana helps Master Chief fight his way to the Didact's inner sanctum, where he dispatches
All
the
right.
Didact with a
Based.
well-placed Forerunner pulse grenade.
Holy shit. So he actually fights the Didact, like, single-handedly? Like, this dude's actually goated. I mean, listen, he's no Doom guy, but he's goated.
The Chief then
I see why people like him so much.
manually detonates a nuke to destroy the composer, and Cortana teleports him away from the blast and into near-Earth space where he gets picked up by the Infinity. Sadly, Cortana, also bids her old friend goodbye
Wait, she actually dies? Wait, she actually just goes rampant and dies?
and fades away to parts unknown.
Aw, man. Oh, man.
Ultimately, the UNSC blames the Covenant Remnant faction for
She'll be back, don't worry.
New Phoenix, rather than the Didact, who seems to vanish. After a long time apart, Master Chief is finally reunited with his original squad, Blue Team, and they're sent on a mission to discover the
Yeah.
origins of the Composer, since it's such a threat. They ultimately discover the Composer's Forge, an installation that makes composers much like the Ark makes halos. And guess who's there, turning the crank and pumping out composers? That's right, our old disavowed pal, the Didact.
There he is. He's just everywhere now. Apparently, he's just like the ultimate random enemy that just awoke from some ancient slumber. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan of this Didact guy's plotline.
Chief kills him again, for real this time, and
No.
Blue Team destroy
You mean they kill this supervillain, this ancient deity guy? They kill him in a fucking comic spin-off? No. No.
all the composers and the Forge. But forget Halo 4. Halo 4 is gone now. Halo 5 Guardians starts in the year 2558, and Covenant attacks have only gotten worse since the Prometheans have rejoined the fight. A team of shiny new Spartan 4s, Fireteam Osiris, are sent to kill Jewel Madama, leader of a Covenant splinter group that have occupied a planet
understandable
called Kamchatka, and host Dr. Halsey, who fled to avoid the outcome of her trial from the last game. They take back the planet, kill Jewel, and recapture Halsey, who warns of a much graver threat on the horizon and tries to leverage that intel to make a deal. While
not gonna lie, so this plot is just they send an elite team to kill some Covenant guys. Like, after the crazy shit we've seen until here, the amazing world building, the lore dives, the personalities of the different characters intertwining, making alliances, like this is essentially just and a bunch of fucking epic soldier guys go in and kill some Covenant guys.
on the mission, Osiris also witnessed something disturbing. Covenant seemingly losing control of their Promethean Forerunner foot soldiers. At the same time, Blue Team and Master Chief are off fighting Covenant in another part of space when John 117 suddenly receives a cryptic mental message from Cortana.
Oh my god, it's Cortana.
Meridian is next. So, once again against orders and doing what his rampant AI girlfriend tells him to, Master Chief goes rogue, this time taking Blue Team with him, and they all head to the planet Meridian. Fireteam Osiris, armed with a mobilization
because he got a vision thing.
devices, are sent after them. This leads to a confrontation in which Chief fist fights Locke, the leader of Osiris, and flips it on him, immobilizing him with one of his own immobilizers.
Oh!
Blue Team presses on. Ultimately, they discover the existence of yet another killer Forerunner tech,
Dude, stop. No! What? Dude, you're just gonna hit me with, oh my god, we discovered a new completely epic superpower that totally existed this whole time.
Guardians. Giant neon Evangelion look.
Dude, is this where Halo fell off? Be honest in chat. Is this where Halo fell off? Because I know at some point it falls off, and a lot of people in the Halo fandom get really pissed. Is this the fall off point? Yes. Yes, I'm getting a lot of yeses. All right. I'm glad I see why people are mad. I see why people are mad. Until this game, it's been straight fire.
Looking angel robots designed to fly around policing the galaxy with their super weapons. The first Guardian emerges on Genesis, a planet with a connection to the Domain, which
Bible reference! It's so frustrating because in the original, in like the last couple of games, the Bible references weren't just names from the Bible, right? They were actual like the history of the Bible and the creation of the world could be interpreted in the very fabric of what made humanity grow. This is a dramatic fall off.
is the mysterious plane from which Cortana is operating. She claims that the Forerunners have cured her rampancy, but that's arguable because the new plan is to take control of the Guardians herself. See, she thinks she'll do a better job of guarding humanity than, well, humanity.
Yeah, that's definitely dark. The AI is like, listen, give us control of literally all of your power. I will be in charge. I can do a better job protecting you than even you can. Yes, I definitely trust you.
Classic Cortana move. Fireteam Osiris traveled to Sanghelios, a Covenant homeworld, and helped the Arbiter put down remnant forces there in exchange for his help catching up to Blue Team. To do so, they hitch a ride aboard a Guardian, which carries them to the staging area on Genesis. Once there, Osiris encounter another Forerunner monitor, 031 Exuberant Witness, who's in the process of being remolded and just generally pushed around by Cortana. Not happy about that, 031 aids Osiris in reaching Blue Team, hoping they'll eventually kick Cortana out of Exuberant Witness's systems. The teams meet again, and Locke explains that Cortana is attempting to usurp the mantle of responsibility for herself. The Chief...
Because no shit, yeah, when an AI says, let me just take complete control over your planet, I'm doing it for you guys, yeah, you don't trust the AI, obviously.
Tries to talk her...
Cortana became Skynet, oh my lord. Like, most obvious generic AI plotline of all time. I see why people were upset. I see why people are upset.
Down, but she refuses, immobilizes Blue Team, and attempts to kidnap them. Fireteam Osiris recover Blue Team and return control of Genesis to Exuberant Witness, forcing Cortana to flee aboard another Guardian.
No, your AI girlfriend got away!
AI across the galaxy suddenly start to pledge their allegiance to Cortana, but one AI, the Control AI...
All the other AI are now allied with this AI, and this AI is the leader of the other AI. Cortana used to be a cool character, and now is just generic AI hive mind overlord creature.
Aboard the ship Infinity, named Roland, remains loyal and makes an emergency slip space jump in order to escape her widening sphere of influence. Because it's not a Halo game if it doesn't end with an emergency slip space jump that sets up the next game. This game ends with Blue Team and Fireteam Osiris meeting up again on Sanghelios, along with the Arbiter, Palmer the Spartan 4, and everyone's favorite walking moral gray area, Dr. Catherine Halsey. Technically speaking, the events of Halo Wars 2 come a little later in 2859. After 28 years drifting in space, the Spirit of Fire, remember the original ship with Captain Cutter and Alan Anders aboard, finally awakens. Upon doing so, they realize they've been forcibly transported to right near the Lesser Ark, old Installation 00. An aggressive Covenant faction called the Banished have occupied the Ark, and SOF forces begin a surface campaign against them while simultaneously trying to find a way to contact the UNSC. They finally realize...
So the Banished, are they like the orcs?
...that the Ark is currently mid-build on a replacement Halo. The new ring, called Installation 09, will inevitably teleport back to known space once it's complete, so the humans decide to hitch a ride when the time comes. In order to do so, they make their way to the control room aboard Halo 9 and disarm its weapon systems right before it jumps. Anders is left behind, and some of the Spirit of Fire's crew, but most are able to evacuate onto the ring in time. Unfortunately, rather than completing their ride back home, the ring is yanked out of slip space mid-jump by a Guardian. And that is the Halo story so far.
So this is one game behind, it seems, this lore dive. Yeah, no, so the Banish are apparently a rogue group of Covenant. So wait, so there are no aliens in the universe aside from just the Covenant? It's just the humans and the Covenant beefing the entire time? There's no one else? And now there's the AI overlords and obviously the Flood?
As for the upcoming Halo Infinite, assuming it carries the same story forward, we've got to assume that pesky Guardian is under Cortana's control, and that Master Chief's attempts to cure her rampancy and prevent her from stealing the mantle will make up the main thrust of Infinite's story. That said, there are bound to be plenty of surprises along the way, and now you're properly primed for each and every one. Good hunting, Chief.
Hell yeah. No, that was good. It was a good video. Of course, I'll link it in the description. Yeah, no, Halo lore, if you exclude the recent stuff, because I definitely noticed the obvious fall off ever since, Cortana decided to become the main villain for some reason. The backstory, the world building, the terrifying Flood, which I think should have always been regarded as the major threat in Halo, the Halos themselves, that shit slapped. This was really good. I think I like this lore better than Doom. I don't think it's Warhammer good, but I do think it's fucking fire, and I would like to continue it if I hit 10,000 likes on this video. Definitely leave a like. Daily videos on Nux Talk, you know how it is. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.